Woo! Good evening, my friends. Wow, what a day, huh? Pretty crazy. Pretty crazy. Yeah, we're going to talk all about it. Let's watch this news clip first real quick. Just give us a quick little rundown.
The judge in the Karen Reed case makes a major ruling denying the defense's request to throw out all the charges as we head to the second trial. And we are now 1 week from jury selection. Thanks for staying with us. I'm Lisa Hughes.
And I'm David Wade. The judge is making some progress in establishing the ground rules for this next trial. As WBZ's Christina Rex shows us, one of the rules will focus on what happens outside of the courtroom.
Stakes in the ground and caution tape around the courthouse, a telltale sign that Karen Reed's second trial starts in just 1 week. The boundaries are to keep this activity out. The buffer zone for this trial could be extended even farther than the last time. So Karen Reed's supporters and others can't come near the courthouse with clothing or signs about the case.
Unprecedented.
That's how Karen Reed feels about prosecutors asking for access to her texts with her lawyer, despite attorney-client privilege. The judge interrupted lawyers to quickly deny that request.
I'm not going to give you this information, Mr. Brennan. I don't even think it's appropriate for me. So the motion is denied.
This is the final hearing before jury selection starts next week, and the majority of the quick session was spent talking about the defense's theory of the case. Specifically, that they believe one of three witnesses could have killed John O'Keefe: Brian Albert, Brian Higgins, or Colin Albert, an allegation prosecutors want kept out of trial.
There's, I believe, a certain amount of gaslighting going on here in that on one side of his mouth, he talks about he wants Ms. Reed to have a fair trial. But we've spent weeks where he's just trying to knock out all our evidence.
There's no evidence of conversations. They have no evidence of a conspiracy. They have no evidence of a cover-up.
The judge has not decided on this issue yet, but jury selection is going forward in 1 week. Over 200 people are called for jury duty on day one, and the judge plans to have some of them come back the next day for questioning while new jurors fill out their forms to maximize time, because she believes it'll take weeks to find an impartial jury.
Many, if not most, perhaps all potential jurors have heard about this case.
And regarding a motion to dismiss for extraordinary governmental misconduct that was filed by the defense weeks ago in this case, the judge just denied that motion in its entirety, saying that it's an extreme remedy and any issues that Karen Reed and her team may face, she says, can be resolved during her second trial. That trial starts 1 week from today. In Dedham, Christina Rex, WBZ News.
I'm beginning to not like her face, bro. If I'm being totally honest, just saying. Yes, folks. I'm not gonna make you guys wait any longer. To joining me to discuss the denial of this motion to dismiss is the one and only and notorious Nan Gallagher, folks. What's up, Nan?
Nothing much. Pretty uneventful day. How about
you? Uneventful, yeah. Yeah, that's what I call it. Yeah, that's the ticket.
Oh my God. Bev's killing me today.
I mean, right. Like, she does one thing, like where I give her, and I knew it too. You know what I mean? Like, I knew, I was like, this is what she does. Like, every time, Nan, whenever Bev does something that I'm like, all right, Bev, I see you. And then just not even a couple of hours later. Every fucking time. Every time.
It was foreplay. Can't get fooled by that shit, Will. Can't get fooled by that shit.
I mean, I'm not fooled by it. Like I said, like I see it coming, but I'm always hoping.
I saw you kind of have a little hope there because she did make the correct decision, which I'm sure we'll go over. And I was
Well, and it was the way that she went about it too. that gave me a little bit of hope that she might dismiss this case, just a little bit. I didn't realistically believe that she would, but
Yeah.
just it wasn't that she denied Brennan's motion to, violate blatantly Karen Reed's rights. It was that she seemed disgusted by Brennan's actions, So I was like, okay, or maybe she's just been stupid this whole time. All right.
It's like that scene from Dumb and Dumber, like, so you're saying there's a chance, that little piece of hope, but no. But she, and I guess we could talk about that decision or all of them. I have all of my notes. I am double fisting notes today, folks. But on that decision with regard to handing over attorney-client privileged communications, that would have been, to say it nicely, a bridge too far. But I actually, for a moment, got a little nervous when she stopped Alessi during his argument.
I did too.
And I thought it had, and maybe you did, like, too. I think for a moment, I'm like, oh God, she thinks he's going on too long, which I have to say, in watching Alessi's style, that was a very economized argument. He was like laser precise in his oral argument in opposition to that motion. So I was a little surprised. I'm like, wait, whoa, why is she stopping him? And then she made the right call on that. But,
she did.
And
I got to say that I'm also like enjoying the defense now, not holding back as far as throwing accusations at Brennan. Like no more of this my brother shit. You know what I mean? No more of this my brother. I'd hate to say these things about my brother in the law. They're over that shit. I love it. I love that they're just like, dude, like he's sitting there on one side of his mouth talking about how he wants my client to have a fair trial, and then the other side of his mouth, what he's been doing for weeks is cutting the legs out from under her and trying to rob her from having a defense. What the fuck is going on here?
Yeah. There's no more of that brother bullshit. And there's also a level of fuck it, I mean, and I know you've pointed it out. So in some respect, I'm going to a little bit be echoing what I hear in your streams, because I predominantly watch these hearings through your streams. But this level of fuck itness, I guess, is, if we can coin that phrase, because there's no messing around here. And in my opinion, Yannetti came in with a necessary chip on his shoulder that some of what he had to oppose, and he didn't oppose the attorney-client privilege document or communication motion, which he should not have anyway, that, he should have and rightfully was removed from that argument. That should have been Alessi's or Jackson's, and she don't like Jackson. So, but Yannetti, he comes into court with that chip on his shoulder.
Well, right. And it happened like it happened the last hearing where he just seemed to just like, he was like, I won't even fucking talk then, dude. Okay, Bev, like, what do you want to do here? You want to bully me, or can I like defend my client? What do you want to do here? That's basically what he said, not in so many words. And she was like, oh, Mr. Yannetti, you can talk, you could do this. And then ever since then, and then this hearing, she doesn't interrupt him once, which I was shocked. I was shocked.
Not once, which is unusual for her. I've heard your commentary and some people in chat's commentary like, there's a swing in her step today. I have my own theories about that, but one of them is predominantly that she knew at the time she was allowing the defense to argue without interruption that she was going to drop the hammer on them. She was going to drop the hammer on them later in the afternoon.
Well, that's apparent now. Yeah, for sure. You're right.
But in the eyes of a litigator and criminal defense attorney, like I knew that motion was going to get denied. I think everyone, I mean, I saw but once I saw a swing in her step, my major theory was she's being nice because she's going to be not so nice to them later. And there's no way that she could have written And I don't think she wrote this. I think it was a law clerk. That's what most judges do. But there's no way she could have written a 27 order in one day or one afternoon. So she's been working on this. Just preview to your audience. I think it's a bunch of bullshit in writing, which I'm happy to go over. But one thing Nan Gallagher doesn't do, I don't read motions and orders line by line. I have tremendous respect for people who do, but
right.
myself line by line, but I don't read them to you line by line. So,
let me see if I can pull that up.
I can email it to you if you need me to.
I actually did get it emailed to me.
Yeah, I think I actually emailed it to you earlier. Or while you're calling it up, I'm happy to give just a brief recap.
Well, that's fine. I just want to have it up. That's all.
No problem.
Because we're not gonna.
Yeah.
All right.
Hi to everybody in the chat, by the way. It's nice to see you guys. I have my may contain vodka t-shirt on today, although it's not vodka nan. It's not vodka nan. I'm giving you legal.
I was gonna say, I was like, oh, I thought we already
we know how that we know how that ended.
I mean, do you? I'm just saying, okay. I was just like, all right, let me get prepared.
Honestly, if I was vodka nan tonight, I could probably make more sense out of the complete hypocrisy that is this order. But and I've seen a lot of I've been quite active on Twitter today while working, but I think people will see more from me, some more live tweeting on some of these things, and certainly during the trial. So figured I would mention that to all of you because I can't contain the snark. But as far as this order is concerned, I do have notes on it. Obviously, she denied. And Will, do you want me to recap her decision, or do you want to just ask me questions?
No, please recap it.
Okay. So essentially she denied it. We knew she was going to deny it. Okay. But a lot of people are already pointing out, and I'm pointing it out as well, that, some of what she's put in her footnotes, I know some people tend to gloss over footnotes. What she put in some of her footnotes essentially contradicts her decision. So I would encourage anyone to look at the footnotes and be like, well, wait, if she says this, or she says it's unclear to her as to why certain Sallyport videos were not handed over by Proctor sooner, and it's unclear to her why X, Y, or Z didn't happen, that in a nutshell means that she should have held an evidentiary hearing. So if you recall in the motion to dismiss, which we were able to.
So wait a second.
Yeah.
So you're saying that she explains in the footnotes why there should be an evidentiary hearing and then denies the evidentiary hearing.
Bingo. And I mean, I am being
okay.
I'm kind of cliff notesing this for you all, or maybe we can call them Will Glare notes or Will's notes, but you're getting Will's notes on this. Like, the essence is specifically, like, if you guys, I don't know how much you guys all drill down on this crap, but I certainly am of the opinion that you guys just want the bullet, as I call it. But like in her footnotes, she talks about things like, well, I have no idea why Proctor didn't hand over this Sallyport video until when he was asked for it by Lally later. It's unclear why Trooper Proctor requested the footage on January 29th, 2022. Why is it unclear? Like, he needs to have his ass dragged into court and answer that. And
right.
If you guys all recall, and Will, you and I were like honored to have been present in the courtroom, me for the whole day, you for half the day, because I know you were balancing it with Turtle Boy's hearing in the afternoon. But if you recall, on the motion to dismiss, the defense was arguing this case should be dismissed. All charges should be dismissed, and here's why, ... But essentially, in the alternative, we need you to hold an evidentiary hearing on some of these key critical Brady violations, failure to produce exculpatory or impeachment evidence, so that a more robust understanding and factual basis can be determined as to why all of this fuckery, there's no other word for it. I guess you could call it shenanigans. But why all of this fuckery has gone on. The judge had an opportunity from the time this was argued on March 5th until the time this decision was handed down on what's today, March 25th. So roughly 3 weeks or so. I don't know, not 2 weeks for her to say, you know what, I'm not going to issue a ruling. I'm going to punt the April 1st trial date. You can have jurors come in and you can tear them down.
I mean, do you think that she is like denying this motion for an evidentiary hearing simply because she's hell-bent and has this raging hard-on for April 1st?
Yeah, that's a great handle, though, by the way, raging hard-on. I would like to see that one. Yeah, I think she has a raging hard-on for an April 1st trial date. And there's so many conspiracy theorists out there who kind of say, oh, why? Why is she so hard up for one on April 1st? And, I really don't know, because
there's like the possibilities as to why that could be are basically infinite. Because like it could be because there's someone paying her to do it, or it could be because she wants to go to fucking Disney World. You know what I mean?
I know she's got Bev's Cottage. By the way, I want to go to Disney World too, but I am not going anywhere because this is absolute bullshit. Yeah, she is hard up for April 1st. I don't know why. I've had, and I know Justice Served had also said, because they're seasoned trial attorneys who host that program, and if anyone doesn't follow them yet, you should, because they are good.
I'm going to have them here Friday at 6 p.m. I'll have them
that's
here.
great. Yeah, I'll make sure to tune in for that. But even they said, you can still have jurors report for jury duty, and then you select them and or give them a date to return. Like, it's not this, oh my God, we're going to get the hundreds or thousands, whatever it is, I forget the number, of jurors who come in and they're all going to be wasted because I'd have to punt this trial date. Like, she's out of her mind. That is not the way it works. It's not the way it works in the real legal world. That's why, like, a lot of lawyers,
none of this shit is the way it works in the real legal world. That's what's crazy about it. Like, fucking all of it is the upside down. It is absolutely insane.
It totally is. And I look at this stuff and I go, I don't get it. She's putting these like completely arbitrary impediments in the way. Well, we have to start on this date. We have to have jurors come in on that date. We can't do this. You have to do that. Why? Can you imagine? And I don't like to get personal, but could you imagine being her child? Oh my God. Like, you forget it. You got to eat your peas or you're not going to play your PlayStation. I am sick of it. And this woman is just out of her mind with this decision. Look, it was never going to get granted. But when you look through and, if anyone wants to go to sleep, read the decision.
Well, we know the grounds as to why they wanted the dismissal.
Yes.
And that is enough for anybody with common sense to go, yeah, you cannot prosecute this woman under these circumstances. It is completely unconstitutional. You cannot do it.
It is. And Bev tends to conflate trial 1 with trial 2 to her whim. When she wants to say, well, you had an opportunity to cure that defect or to fully explore that type of evidence in trial 1.0, and you either didn't, or this is a new trial. Like, she's now joined the gaslighting bandwagon. I thought it was just Brennan's show in terms of gaslighting. I was happy, by the way, to hear, I think it was Yannetti, say gaslighting today. I was like, no, because that word needed to enter that courtroom and get on that record. But she now has, because she is conflating and using trial 1.0 and trial 2.0, whether she wants to separate them or to conjoin them to her whim. But this decision, I mean, I'm telling you guys, it's like written through most of the footnotes. But
isn't it interesting though that Yannetti, like, because I didn't think of that. You're saying that it was important for him to put that word on the record.
To me, I mean,
do you feel that was a strategic move on his part?
I do. And to be honest with you, Will, I can't remember, and maybe your chat can refresh my recollection as to when Yannetti used it. But he used it, and I probably have it in my notes as to which ones he was arguing.
If I remember correctly, it was when it was after Brennan argued.
The third party culprit.
Right. And when he answered back, and then Yannetti, he was just like, look. So if that's the case, I mean, that's, again, man, that's why I like to call him the cerebral ninja, dude, because he slips in there, man. You don't see him coming, and it's real polite,
Yes.
So Yannetti is just up there like, Your Honor, there just seems to be some kind of gaslighting going on here.
Right. And I thought for a moment she was going to kind of bite back at Yannetti for saying it. And then Alessi made another comment when he accused Brennan of using hyperbole.
Right.
Or hyperbole, as you like to call it.
He was, dude, and he was like, he was just like, it's not necessary, like, because the thing is he's talking about they're not sharing discovery. And this is the thing. This is what I've noticed. Brennan's little game when it comes to the ARCA discovery. This is his little game. He is accusing them of not sharing discovery that doesn't exist. He's just making it up. So this way he can argue that they're not sharing discovery because the defense has no choice, no option but to go, no, we don't have it. What are you talking about? And that's exactly what happened today. Like, they can't share discovery that doesn't exist. You're asking for something that you're saying they have. You're accusing them of having something. You're accusing them of having witness names from the U.S. Attorney's investigation. You're accusing them of having all of this inside information from the U.S. Attorney's investigation and the FBI investigation, but they have the same information that the defense does.
It's interesting that you bring up that point, Will, because the converse of that is also true and underscores your point, which is in that motion to dismiss decision, which you don't need to call up, okay, if but in that decision, the judge spanks, pardon the pun, she spanks the defense for not specifically essentially knowing what they're asking for. She says things like, the defense can't prove to me that anything that wasn't produced to them was exculpatory. No shit, Bev, because they don't have it. It wasn't handed over.
He also keeps, this is the gaslighting little tactics that he likes to play too. He has a way of just making the burden of proof be on the defense and not the prosecution. He seems to have this very interesting little method of shifting the burden to the defense when it's fucking law 101, bro, that the burden of proof is on the prosecution and you have to meet that burden. You don't get to just shift it over to the defense. And he does this in a very shifty way. He does it in a very shady, slippery way. He's a slime ball, this motherfucker.
He's still an idiot, Will. You're not going to convince me otherwise. But yes, I agree with you. He is slippery and shady in how he does it. It's gaslighting on steroids. And he's very good at that. That skill.
This is why Michael Morrissey hired him, for that reason, so he could pull that shit with a jury. That's what he's there for.
Yeah, because Morrissey's seen it on the other end. So, he's Morrissey's lackey at this point. Is frankly ruining his career as far as I'm concerned, for so many different reasons, including with a straight face asking a court to hand over attorney-client privileged information. Like, that's unbelievable to me.
It is crazy.
Yeah, attorneys are just,
And just the way that he did it was just so like confident. Like, well, she waived her right. Like, not even just acting as though he wasn't doing the slimiest shit that a lawyer could fucking do.
I agree.
Like slapping every lawyer in the face with what he was doing,
including herself,
and acting like he wasn't.
Including herself, like what? Because let's not forget, every judge is a lawyer. So there may be a couple jurisdictions. I want to make sure I'm clear. There may be a couple jurisdictions where you don't have to have graduated from a law school or some. I mean, certainly internationally, that may be the case as well. But every judge is essentially a lawyer, and that every state I know of, that judge in hearing that motion is getting insulted by that motion. I have to say, though,
especially since she was a defense attorney before being a judge.
I agree. The only thing I would have wished she had done, if I could have finessed that a little more, is say, I'm not entertaining this motion. Let's not waste anybody's time. This is inappropriate. I shouldn't be seeing the communications in camera, which means in chambers. I'm going to deny the motion outright. The fact that she let either one of them spout on for 30 minutes is ridiculous.
I agree with you, but I also, to play devil's advocate, and strictly just to play devil's advocate, I would say it's such a fucking brazen, shitty move that part of me is dying to know what his justification is for this. So let's hear your fucking argument, dude. Let's lay it on me. Let's hear it. And if it's nothing, and then unless he gets halfway through his where he's stating the obvious, I see Bev just, okay, man, I've heard enough. I've already made up my mind. I just wanted to hear, okay, that's what I got. That's the vibe I got from Bev today, which I agree with. Another thing that I just thought of with David Yannetti being the cerebral ninja is what he did. Now it's pretty subtle, but not so subtle, because when he does that, when he says, on one side of his mouth, he wants my client to have a fair trial. And then for the last 3 weeks, for so many weeks, he's been doing nothing but trying to keep her from having a defense, right? And then he says it's a lot like a defense attorney that he's acting like.
Yes.
And what he did there was very slick, because remember what they're arguing over. They're arguing a third-party culprit. And right there, he just planted the seed on the record, as you stated earlier, because I didn't think about that. But he planted that seed by putting it on the record that this prosecution, this false prosecution of Karen Read, is designed to protect the McAlberts.
Yes.
Period.
See, sometimes it takes a little distance from the argument and analysis and time to really see the synergies and the connectivity of it all. That's a really great takeaway. And sometimes, and I don't always see those things. I kind of saw it a little.
I wouldn't have if you hadn't pointed out that he was putting the word gaslighting on the record. And when I'm trying to put myself in the mindset of David Yannetti, and maybe it wasn't even that deep. Who knows? But
we giving him
what I mean?
Credit.
maybe, but if I like the cerebral ninja that I have in my mind, that I have built up, like a fucking cartoon character when I'm a kid, like totally did that on purpose.
He did. It's a blend. I think he did that strategically, and I think he also did it because he's got that fuckedness. Like, he's just done. And
right,
Yannetti, I think we all can agree. Yannetti he's the only one barred in that state. He's the one who has, in my opinion, the most to lose if he were to get in any kind of trouble on the case. Like, for example, if the whole issue involving ARCA and payment of ARCA went down the way people thought it was going to go down, like people thought, oh, is AJ going to get bumped? Is anyone else going to get bumped? Yannetti is barred in that state. He's got a lot to lose.
Right.
But with that said, Bev, from my observation dealing with how judges treat attorneys, she's always kind of treated Yannetti differently, almost with a different level of respect and a different level of and better level of deference. If you recall, when the issue involving the jury verdict forms came up back on trial 1.0, she's like, this is the way we always write this jury verdict form. Isn't that right, Mr. Yannetti? And he's like, I have no fucking idea what you're talking about, Judge. Like, I've never seen it this way.
Right.
But she deferred to him because she thought he was
She's done
going
it
to
twice so far. She's done it twice so far. And I love, like, if I had to guess what Yannetti's in a thought, what his mindset is always is right now. If I had to guess in a thought what it would be, it's, if I'm not fighting this case with all my heart and complete and utter honesty with myself, what the fuck am I practicing law for? This is the case. This is the case that you become a defense attorney for.
Yeah.
So doing this for the right reasons, I have to do this right. And that's what I think is going through his head when he's like, you know what, man, I'm over this shit.
Yeah.
I am done playing these games, these Your Honor games and these My Brother games. Fuck this shit. My client is being fucking railroaded.
It's so
Like,
abundantly clear. It's so abundantly clear. And I really, that resonates with me to hear you say that about him, because as an attorney, I have faced those types of moments, not many, but moments in my career where I have said, you know what, like, this challenge is so oppressive or so seemingly insurmountable, but I got to do this. Like, I have to do this, or else why did I go to law school, which was a miserable 3 years of my life. It was not fun. No one's going to tell you law school is fun, and practicing law is not always fun. So yeah, there's times when lawyers say, if this type of thing happens, then what am I doing this for? And we don't produce a product. We're not like, you know, to use your example, slinging pizzas and having, you know, good service and a product and image and all of that of an establishment. Our product is our integrity. Our product is our argument, whether it's written in writing or argued orally before a judge. And there's different types of lawyers, transactional, litigators, etc. I'm a combination of both, but we all throw our integrity and honor on the line. Everything we do. And when someone like Brennan stands up in front of a court and makes such lies and just lies and makes such bald, there's no way to sugarcoat it for him.
Crazy.
It cuts lawyers very deeply, and that's where I get very puzzled when some, not many, some lawyers whom have come out kind of defend this whole process and this complete deprivation of Karen's constitutional rights federally and at the Commonwealth level. That runs against the grain of how we're trained and how we're supposed to comport ourselves daily. So pardon my dog. She's like, that's right, bitch, go for it. Sorry.
This is not Hank Brennan just brazenly lying the way that he is. Easily disproven lies. You know, just a fountain of them constantly. These lies, these things, him doing this is not a case of, I didn't know I couldn't do that. You know, he doesn't get to play that game. This is what he was hired to do. And I want to stress that. This is what he was hired to do. This is why there's nobody from the Norfolk County DA's office prosecuting this case. Mm-hmm. This is why a special prosecutor was hired. I'll tell you exactly why. Because Ken Mello, who was a special prosecutor hired in Turtle Boy's prosecution, right? Same thing. Nobody's going to take that shit on because he twisted the truth. He lied, and Turtle Boy is charged under a bunch of false shit and using a law that's unconstitutional, weaponizing a law that's unconstitutional to wrongfully prosecute him. Right. So, of course, no DA with integrity is going to do this. No ADA with integrity is going to do this. So he hires Ken Mello. Now, the interesting thing about this is what Ken Mello said in an interview. And I think it was with Fall River Reporter. If I'm correct, it was with Jess Machado. Where he says, I was hired because I can do what I want. I don't answer to the district attorney. I do what I want. I make decisions that are, I'm the one prosecuting this case.
I'm independent. Yeah.
Right. So this is a way for Michael Morrissey to completely and totally unethically railroad Karen Reed, have somebody up there tell lies, do everything it takes, just kick balls constantly, twist nipples and fucking fish hook, right? That's what he can do that without being held accountable. Hey, the special prosecutor, he's on his own. He's doing what he wants, but this is what he was hired to do. And he's doing it he's doing it for Michael Morrissey, but without Michael Morrissey, or at least seemingly, Michael Morrissey thinks that he can't be held accountable for Hank Brennan's actions. That's what's going on here.
It's the two words that everyone's heard: plausible deniability.
Right.
Meatball is deferring or delegating, I guess is a better word, these types of cases, whether it's Karen's or the Turtle Boy cases, charges, outside of his own domain so he can be once removed. But in my opinion, and from my observation, he's still heavily involved in them. And from a court perspective, someone like Brennan is the Commonwealth. So it's one thing, it's two things going on. Two things can be true at the same time. Meatball's looking for plausible deniability by having outside attorneys special prosecute these matters. But from a court standpoint and a legal standpoint, they are those individuals, Brennan, Mello, Cosgrove, just to group them together for purposes of this example only, those are individuals who cannot separate themselves from the Commonwealth. They are the Commonwealth. And that reminds me, I heard some chatter today during court. I can't remember which motion it was on, where at some point, one of the defense attorneys said something about Brennan was involved. He may not have been involved in the first trial, but he's as involved. He has to be presumed to be as involved as he was, as Lally was in 1.0. You cannot draw these, dotted lines of distinction. Interesting, by the way, if there was a comment there, I didn't see it, Will. So let me know if there was something you needed.
Oh, it was just a compliment that they like our dynamic.
Thank you so much.
A fellow Dominicana.
Oh, was it in Espanol?
No, just
Muchas gracias, señorita. But anyway, there was so much going on today, and I know that a lot of people are looking for answers or summary or what, but Will and I just shoot the shit. So we talk about this stuff the way real people should be approaching these. I mean, I'm happy if anyone wants it, you guys just shout it out. I can give a rundown of the motion to dismiss decision, the bullet that is. I can give you a rundown of my field notes on the motions that were argued.
Yeah, shoot Nan some questions.
Oh yeah, and if maybe later, Nan might be feeling a little generous. Maybe later, we'll see.
Do that. Come on, man.
We'll see. It's all for a good cause. But anyway, I'm not throwing that out there yet. But let me just check out La Furio Spanish. Yeah, I am fluent in Spanish, folks. I lived in South America for 2 years.
Okay.
A little fun fact about the Nanners. Anyway, Let me hit you guys with a little summary, Will, just to get it out of the way. That way people won't say she didn't talk about what happened today. Okay. Here it is, folks. And I am going to refer to
talking about what happened today.
Yeah.
I'm listening. Go ahead.
Yeah,
I gotta go get another bang drink.
Oh, thank you. All right. Yeah, go get another drink. So here's my hi everybody. Here's a little recap of how things went today. So they argued the third party culprit motion. No surprises there. As far as I'm concerned, though, if anyone wants like a more detailed discussion of how it went, you should follow my tweets from today, because I've really tried to do live tweeting. But in a nutshell, you guys all understand that the Commonwealth doesn't want the third party culprit defense, and the defense does. And there is, in my opinion, a material misunderstanding on the part of Brennan as to what is permitted to be presented to a court and before a jury as to a third party culprit defense. In addition, I would add to you all that as far as some tweets I saw come out after the court hearing today, which I was surprised it ended as early as the court ended today. I think it was the John Petro, whatever his name is, show. Like, people were kind of commenting that, well, why would the defense even name the
guy's a fucking retard?
Yeah, I apologize. I'm bashing his. I'm bashing.
Fuck that guy. He's an idiot.
John DePetro, whatever it is. But I kind of commented because he was criticizing the defense for only naming the three, and that means Jen McCabe had nothing to do with it. And I was like, you don't understand how a third party culprit defense works. But for purposes of your understanding, in terms of this motion, last I saw, the decision on that is still pending, other than the judge had made at least a preliminary decision last week that the defense was not going to be permitted to argue third party culprit in its opening, which I completely disagree with. And they disagreed with her finding on that on trial 1.0 as well. And it was like the first words out of the ninja. What do you call him? The cerebral ninja.
The cerebral ninja.
Yeah, like he was like, Karen Reed was framed. And it was, goes down in one of the best moments, but he should be able to argue that in openings. And you don't make arguments, you kind of lay out what the evidence is going to show. And I was fine with it, and Judge Bev should be too. But as I was kind of tweeting about the third party culprit motion today, my thought was that the argument raised by Brennan was extremely weak. Yannetti did a fantastic job in opposing it. There is absolutely enough. Now, we all know Bev might grant this motion. We don't want that. But there is absolutely enough that has been presented for there to be a sufficient foundation to have a third-party culprit defense come into evidence under the precedent in the jurisdiction. So if she grants the Commonwealth's motion to preclude or to bar that type of defense, I have no idea what she's going to hang her hat on. But that's still pending. If anyone, and I don't want to direct people to my tweets, but if anyone wants more concise summary, or at least my thoughts, you might want to look at my tweets on it.
Let me address this fool real quick. Why should they? Who's on trial? Last time I looked, it was the only one defendant. Listen, dude. First of all, you guys seem to forget that Karen Reed is innocent until proven guilty. She's presumed innocent, first of all. Second of all, they are presenting a third-party culprit defense. And if you have a problem with that, blame the Massachusetts State Police, because the Massachusetts State Police failed to conduct a thorough investigation. They are the ones, the way that they conducted their investigation, they are providing the defense with their defense. They have provided the defense with their defense by the way that they conducted that investigation, period. So the bottom line here is Karen Reed, the system is on her side. She has rights. Her rights were violated, period. So the bottom line here is that it sets a precedent. So you should be mad at the Norfolk County DA's office. You should be mad at Judge Bev, and you should be mad at the Massachusetts State Police, and you should be mad at the Canton Police Department. Period. That's it. Because those are the people who are responsible. Like Karen Reed is just merely doing what anybody would do, which is defend herself.
Yeah, I mean the Massachusetts isn't going to name multiple defendants on this case unless, you know, maybe hereafter when Karen is acquitted, maybe they will. Although they've screwed the pooch on that as far as I'm concerned, because there's no way they're going to get convictions against people who were rightfully involved in this crime and cover up, because they went so hard at Karen Reed. They're kind of saying they're ruining any future prosecution on the matter. However, and I don't know if I was going at Jeff on Twitter earlier or not. The name sounded familiar. Either way.
He comes in here, he trolls the chat sometimes. Like,
okay. And your opinion,
and he's fine. He hasn't done anything to make me hide him yet, you know.
That's great. And Jeff, just
he's allowed to have his opinion.
You are. And on your point though, like, she is not only allowed to present her defense, she's got like no burden of proof at all. But if she wants to raise a third party culprit defense on this case, this is the best case in the entire knowledge base that I know of cases to raise it, because there is so much reasonable doubt. And that reminds me, I wanted to hit there. You had a comment in your chat, Will, from a Tara Ellis, who said, should they be focusing on the third party defense or stick to reasonable doubt? It's a great question, Tara. It's my feeling they will and should focus on reasonable doubt, but they're almost inextricably interconnected. So you for so many reasons there's reasonable doubt, and they will hyper focus on it.
Oh, for sure. What they'll do is they'll set reasonable doubt as a safety net.
Right.
That's what that's kind of what I observed them doing last time. Like, what they would do like a lot was they would take the prosecution's witnesses and establish them as liars and have that as a foundation, and then start asking the real questions, you know?
Yeah. Like, think of it like they're just interconnected, and you can get to reasonable doubt independently as a jury, but you to have third party culprit bundled into it, and they're going to bake it in. That makes it all the stronger. Right. So,
because the thing is it's beyond just a reasonable doubt, though. Like, the third party culprit thing is it is what it is. Did Karen Reed destroy her SIM card and her phone? Did she go out of her way to destroy evidence? Did she Google how long to die in cold at 2:27 a.m. and delete it? No. These people did these things. Karen Reed didn't do any of these things. Karen Reed has been nothing but cooperative the entire time.
I completely agree with you. That's one of the reasons I enjoy following you, Will, because you boil it down to like the essence.
It's so simple.
And I don't make things so simple, so that's why I really gravitate towards you.
Thank you, Pokey SD.
So anyway, that motion. Sorry for glitching. It's my cords. I had to set this up quickly.
It's actually, I think it's kind of cool. I don't know why. Yeah. Like, when it happens.
I'm only like this good at technology. But anyway, so that motion was argued well. And also Yannetti was masterful. It's still pending. I love, and it is absolute legal gold when an attorney can cite his own fucking case in support of his position. And one of those cases on third party culprit was his. I cannot remember if it was the one case that Brennan cited or Yannetti brought it up as one of the cases in support of the defense position on third party culprit. But when a lawyer can say, hey, you know, this is an SJC case and I was involved in it, and, you know, Brennan citing it for the wrong reason, judge, like, that's perfect. That is gold. It's very, very rare. I would be surprised if Judge Cannoni does not allow a third party culprit defense. I mean, I know she picks and chooses how and when she uses and separates trial 1.1.
It would be absurd it would be absurd that she allowed it in the first trial and not do it in this one when there's more information now.
I agree, but look what she did with Dr. Marie Russell, and
She still approved Dr. Marie Russell to testify, though.
but she did. But in the first trial, she held that only a medical doctor could offer opinions on these dog bites, and look what she did with Bing Crosby or whatever the fuck his name is. So
David Crosby, I think.
Is it David? Whatever. I'm just being snarky.
Who gives a shit? The guy's a fucking hack.
So anyway, as far as that motion, I'm forecasting it should be granted. Then they went into the stupid motion about production of the documents and records of unsolved productions for that HBO Max ID Discovery.
Like
I still haven't seen the whole thing.
And here's the thing, Nan, is you're not gonna fucking tell me that Bev realized what fucking Brennan was doing there with the whole attorney-client privilege thing. She saw through what he was doing there. You're not going to tell me that she saw through that, but she doesn't see that the rest of the shit is a fucking fishing expedition. And it's her responsibility. Ethically, it's her responsibility to put a stop to it. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, she can't she can't pick and choose when she's going to be really astute on something and then suddenly feign complete stupidity. She knows what's going on. And that's why this, sorry to hop around, we don't have to hop off this point, but in her motion to dismiss decision, denying, she clearly knew her conclusion and then backed her way into it with really crappy reasoning, as far as I'm concerned. There may be lawyers and law tubers who are going to go through this decision from a more neutral standpoint, either tonight or tomorrow. And, congrats, guys. You may say, oh, it's a sound decision. I completely disagree with you. She knew where she wanted to end up, which was denial, and then created really crappy rationale for getting to that decision. She's very, she's a bright woman. And I think even Betterow has said that about her. She knows what she's doing. Captain Skidmarks. What an amazing, is that handle of your day or what?
No, he's been around. He won handle of the day once. But let's see. That's a good question, actually. Are they allowed to point out and say the words reasonable doubt during the trial crossing witnesses or only at closing?
Only at closing.
I thought so.
They can say it in opening. They can say it in opening, but you can't say it. Somebody somewhere, I don't remember if it was on your stream, maybe a chat came in yesterday or something where someone said you should ask every single witness, and that after every witness you question, say, and that's reasonable doubt. You don't do that. That would never be permitted.
And yes, this is just a nice thing someone's saying here.
Oh, thank you, Rebecca.
Thank you, Rebecca.
So sweet. I love your picture. All right, so they went into this unsolved productions motion. She's going to grant it. She didn't grant it yet, but they want all of the raw data, so to speak. What hit the editing room floor on it? Because Brennan again tries to just cut Karen off every way she goes. And one of the attorneys for the defense today, I think it might have been Yannetti, said all Brennan is doing is just trying to deprive her of a defense. That's when he was kind of talking about he's acting more like a defense attorney. It's just a different role for a prosecutor. This close to a trial, a prosecutor should not be worrying about knocking out a defendant's defenses. She has a right to present them. And as Jackson said the other day, do it. Jackson knows it's called providing a defense for your client. And it's not a what do you call it? I don't want to say like a faulty defense. It's a really strong defense, replete with reasonable doubt and definitive third-party culprits. Wow, defense fund. Look at that.
Yeah, apparently there's also a decision on the buffer zone. I'm just waiting to get that.
Oh, yeah. By the way, can you hear Can you hear repeated vibrations on this end? Because I don't. My phone is blowing up, and I don't know how to turn the vibration off without putting it on do not disturb. So bad. I did not bring a vibrator to your stream, Will. Sorry.
Say anything of the sort, man.
I know how you think. No, anyway.
I don't know how I think, man. You don't know my life.
So anyway, the next
Just
motion
put it
that
on
they
silent, bro. Just click it over on silent from the side.
mine
I
is
think.
on silent, but it still vibrates. Anyway, maybe I have that. Buffer zone decision. Here we go. Bear with me.
Okay.
Buffer zone decision ordered that no individual may demonstrate in any manner, including carrying signs or placards within 200 feet of the courthouse complex during trial of this case, unless otherwise ordered by the court. The complex includes Norfolk Superior Courthouse and the parking area behind the Registry of Deeds. The buffer zone shall further be extended to include the area bounded by Bates Court, Bullard Street, Ames Street, and Court Street. Individuals are also prohibited from using audio enhancing devices while protesting. It is further ordered that no individuals will be permitted to wear any buttons, photographs, clothing, or insignia related to the case or related to any trial participant in the courthouse during trial. Okay. Law enforcement officers who are testifying are prohibited from wearing their department-issued uniforms or any.
See, that I have a problem with. I mean, I have a problem with all of it. I don't like the restrictions at all, but I take issue. I take a little bit of issue with the whole, no free Karen Reed and the, like Turtle Boy's got some merch that's pretty, that I could see would be questionable to wear in a courtroom, but the police not being able to wear uniforms in a courthouse, I think, is absurd, ridiculous. Why? Because they're police. Why? Yeah, why not?
Why would you want the jury to lay eyes on a bunch of beefy police officers walking around that courthouse, intimidating them?
Well, how do you know they're going to intimidate them?
How do you know that Turtle Boy allegedly intimidates people? Like, people draw their inferences. Ronnie, the juror, thought that Brian Albert and Colin Albert and Jen McTooth, or whatever her name is, intimidated him as a juror. There was a female juror who said that.
Oh, that was the McAlberts. I'm talking about, like, if John O'Keefe had Boston police presence there, you know what I'm saying? Now that might look bad for Karen. I'm just saying that why can't a Boston police officer represent themselves as a Boston police officer to show solidarity for justice for John if they wanted to?
Hey, it's a fair point. I'm happy to debate it with you. By the way, Will, I hate to do this, but it looks like I'm not reading this, but a lot of your viewers are having issues with Jeff. So I'm just pointing it out. Do what you want. It's your channel, but
just ignore him.
Just ignore him, guys. They go away. I don't care either way. I fall in line with, I don't want a bunch of beefy police officers walking around this trial. It just, anything that can be removed to remove any appearance of impropriety or any pressure that may be unintended on a jury and on news. And I apologize. I don't really know how expansive what I read to you all is in terms of these other streets and how this differs from the prior buffer zone order. And maybe, others can comment in the chat, or even Seeking Justice might want to chat about it tomorrow morning, because I was just there for a day and a half. But at this point, like, if people who are supportive of the Free Karen Reed movement cannot wear their insignia, then why the hell do the police get to? That's my feeling, but I respect all opinions.
That's a great point. like I said, I take issue with it all.
Yeah.
But the thing is I don't know. It's just the back the blue guy in me looks at it from their perspective, like if they're proud to wear their uniform and they want to stand in support wanting justice for, whether I mean, and get mad at me if you want, but whether it's because they believe Karen to be guilty or because they believe that the wrong people are the wrong person's on trial, whatever. I feel like as a police officer, if they want to show that solidarity as a police officer, if they want to show that support for their brother in blue and honor them by wearing their uniform, I feel like they should, but I understand from an attorney's perspective how you would be against that because of how a jury might perceive it. That makes perfect sense. I'm not even disagreeing with you on that. We're just talking about it from two different perspectives.
We're having a healthy discussion from all the different angles, which I really love, and that's how attorneys are trained. We're supposed to be able to argue both sides.
Sure.
I really could go either way, but it kind of look at it as, in this particular case with these facts, it should be a neutral playing ground. And if the Karen Read supporters are, in my opinion, stifled and muzzled in terms of what they, where they can stand and what they can wear, then that should run both ways. And
I just don't see it because to me, it paints a picture of like the cops versus Karen Read. You know what I mean? Or the cops versus Karen Read supporters. And I just don't see it that way. Maybe that's why I'm not looking at it that way, because I look at it like it's bad cops versus Karen Read supporters. And maybe I'm naive, but I'm still looking at them as the minority. Every single time I see an MSP officer standing outside of that courtroom trying to control the crowd and make sure that the sidewalk is clear, I give them all the respect in the world. They're out there just doing their job. I have no reason to believe whatsoever that they would be doing anything other than the job that they swore an oath to do.
I agree with that.
But then there's Fanning, who I feel different about.
Fanning exception.
Right. Brian Albert. There's, you know what I mean? So I see, so to me, I want to maintain my respect for law enforcement in that sense, where I look at the majority as still being a good entity and what we need. And I support law enforcement, but not bad law enforcement. I find them to be lower than the regular criminals.
I agree. And, you're kind of changing my mind a little bit. Not that you're intending to. And I have nothing but respect for police as well, like good and cops with integrity. I do think there's a bunch of cops in that area who should speak up because they know, and they're not. But you can't sit here and dissect. People look, as far as I'm concerned, police officers honorably doing their jobs with integrity, I got no issue with. But the ones who know and are afraid to speak up because they're going to lose their pension or there might be some form of retaliation, I got a real problem with that. But I got a real problem with any buffer zone. We're all adults. We're all adults. And
the buffer zone thing infuriated me when it happened last year. I was like, dude, come on, man. Like, these people should be able to like be on the courthouse steps if they want,
Yeah.
And because I know these people to have been nothing but civil out there.
Yeah.
Like I've seen
they were when I was there. But I agree. So anyway, so now we went over the buffer zone decision, which I had not seen until my assistant sent that to me. So thank you for doing that. We talked about the next motion, which was the Commonwealth's motion to seek the communications between Yannetti and Karen. Ultimately, it was the best result. Judge did step up, as Will and I were discussing at the top of the hour, or the top of last hour. But ultimately, like, it was just Bush League, as I call it. This is a Bush League move.
Bush League.
Yeah.
Bush League.
It is. Brennan lost any modicum of respect that I had for him left, which was minimal, by even requesting that. And I kind of got annoyed with some of the people who were analyzing it, like saying, well, maybe it was a waiver. And I saw your stream, Will, about the, showing the court TV and the woman who was being interviewed and the former judge who was interviewing her having a theoretical discussion about whether there was a waiver of privilege. I just disagree. I don't ever see that was a waiver. And
right.
I'm happy.
A lot of people say it was, and then I've heard other attorneys say that it wasn't.
Yeah. But I think everyone could agree, and I know Bettero feels
it
this
just
way
felt
too.
I'm not an attorney, but it just felt gross. You know what I mean? Like, it feels like, and normally there's a law that I could never cite that when something feels gross, there's a law to back it up and say, yeah, no, that it's not just a feeling. It feels gross, and that's why it's illegal. That's not why it's not okay.
Yeah, in fact, I have my notes, Will. Sorry to interrupt you. Your thoughts here on this motion, and I quote, gross. It was a defining motion that was decided, and then weaselness. Those were my notes from listening to you earlier. I wrote weaselness.
It is, dude. It's really gross. Like the fact that he's so desperate and that he feels entitled, and to have the audacity to say it's in the name of the people of the Commonwealth.
Mm-hmm. That's the
say that he's entitled, right? That say that he's entitled, and the people of the Commonwealth are entitled to Karen Reed's private communications with her attorney. That is insane.
It is, and it's interesting because I ended up putting, where did I put it? Because I really felt strongly when I said it. I tweeted earlier, Brennan, in your typical role as a criminal defense attorney and not in your current role as Meatball's butt-kissing lackey, my opinion. I cannot wait until some corrupt DA seeks your privileged communications with your deadbeat mob clients. I mean, it's really, when lawyers have to argue both sides of things, that's how we're trained. I cannot believe now, seeing what Brennan tried to do, how he could in any way envision a legitimate, righteous reason why he should have taken this step. I felt the same way.
The only way you could even scratch that surface in justification is if you could prove that David Yannetti was doing something so dirty. That it just, okay, wait a second. You know what I mean? Like, if he was in on the cover up or something and she was actually guilty and, he hid the evidence or something and there's some collusion between the two of them, then, okay, I can understand that. Even still, I'd be like, I don't know how I feel about that shit. You know what I mean? Even still, because that's how sacred to me attorney-client privilege is. I feel that it is absolute. There is no gray area. Fuck all that. Like, your conversations with your attorney should be constitutionally protected. Absolutely. Period. Done. No gray area, in my opinion.
I agree. And for any attorneys will absolutely say, with the exception of Brennan and Lally and McLaughlin, who are all grouped together in a joint prosecution here, any lawyer will tell you we are of the mindset and the training and just the everyday life doing what we do, that everything our clients tell us, whether it's in a civil matter, an administrative matter, or even the direst of criminal matters, everything is privileged. And I have my own suspicions as to what went down in those few days following the accident and the passing of of Officer John O'Keefe. Like, I have a feeling that when Karen was communicating on some of the, either in articles or in this documentary, which I still haven't seen all of it, but if she was saying things like, and then I was saying to Mr. Yannetti, blah, 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 and he was saying to me, or we thought this, I have a feeling that was probably a big mixture of not just written communications. I have a feeling that what they were communicating about in whatever form, be it verbal or in writing or emails or texting, phone calls, whatever it was, it's all a blended memory to her now. So I was never worried. I really wasn't.
Yeah,
If it
that's my
came
whole
out,
thing. That's all I hear when people, everybody's argument is that. Look at what she said here.
yeah,
And then it's like, dude, like she's what she's doing is describing what her mindset was like at the time, where she's going, I don't know. Did I run over his foot? Did I bump him? I don't know. Like when I was performing CPR on him, he did not look like he was in a mortal state or whatever the fuck she said. I don't even know what she said. And they're
yeah,
trying to twist that. And all she's doing is describing what she was like. Imagine you cannot visualize realistically what the thoughts are and how many of them are going to be running through your brain when you're in that situation. Under those conditions, under those circumstances, there is no way to realistically speculate what your mindset is like. So when I see or when I hear Karen Reed do an interview and discuss this, and there's inconsistencies, there's not an inconsistency because she's describing what her mindset was like at the time. She's exploring other possibilities, all different possibilities. She's describing herself exploring possibilities as to what could have happened, which is what any person would naturally do in that situation when you
right.
don't know what the fuck is going on. You're looking for your lost boyfriend. You don't know what the fuck he's going on, and then you just see him laying dead in the snow at the place you dropped him off at.
It's the most
know?
natural mental progression. Like I'd actually be
Right.
shocked if she didn't go through it. And having clients, they all go through these types of things. But also that progression that I'm confident she went through with did I hit him? Could I have done this? Could I have done that? Like what the hell happened?
Right.
All of it shows me that Jen McCabe is just full of shit. She's
right.
full of
And
shit.
it also shows you that Karen Reed is the type of person to take accountability.
Yes.
She was looking for a way to take accountability for this.
Yes.
She just failed to be able to do it because the facts dictate she didn't do it.
Yes.
Simple.
And it, as petty paralegal just said, I shot the clerk. It's my cousin Vinny. Like she was saying, did I hit him? Not I hit him, I hit him, I hit him, I hit him. Like, come on. This is such bullshit. I can't even. But I was never afraid that what was communicated between Karen and David was going to be problematic. But it should never have had to have been disclosed. And I'm very happy. Hey, Morris County, woohoo! That's where I live. But the trolls already know that, so I'm not so worried about saying that. But anyway, as far as I'm concerned, that motion, that's Bush League. So that should never been filed. Bev did the right thing. I thought it was going to teeter on a bad decision. She gave us a little itty bitty gift. And I definitely, I knew at that point that the motion to dismiss was going to be denied today. So I knew it was always going to be denied, but I knew it was coming because she was being nice. And then just to finish up our summary for you. All right. As far as the summary is concerned, they went through and negotiated the jury questionnaire. As far as I'm concerned, that's really boring stuff for you to even think about, but that's what the attorneys do. And if there's some type of impasse that the attorneys reach.
Actually, I was thinking when they were discussing it that I was probably at least going to try to make a conscious effort to try to understand it better, the process of jury selection.
Oh, would you like me to explain that or?
Sure.
So as far as jury selection specifically in Norfolk County, I can't speak to it, but the way it from listening to how it works up there and to my experience for how it works in my 3 jurisdictions, there will be a panel of jurors that come in, like they call it the venire or venire. They will come in, they will respond to the jury summonses, all of which went out. I do not remember the number. Maybe someone.
It was somewhere in the 200s, I think.
Was it? I thought it was a higher number, but that's
It
where
it was in the 200 or 300s. I know that it was a lot. I remember going, "Oh shit, that's a lot."
Yeah.
Or it seemed like a lot. Maybe it's not because I don't really know how jury selection works, but it seemed like a lot to me. I was like, "Wow, that's they got to go through all those people."
200s. But sorry to interrupt you. Yeah, that's a lot of jurors, but I understand that would probably be necessary. They want to get a good. It's like, think of, for all the New England folks, you're throwing out a net and you're trying to catch your lobsters, you know what I mean? Or you're trying to catch your fish. You want to pull them in. And I do understand lobsters are caught in traps. But the point is, I'm being metaphorical. You want to cast a wide net, pull in a bunch of jurors. It looks like it's reportedly in the 200s. Then
right, and then you just eliminate.
Yep. It's like process of elimination. The first step is normally that every juror who reports, and by the way, not all of them do, and if they don't, they're subject to actually contempt charges.
One of the reasons I asked you this is because the only impression of jury selection that I really got in detail was from a very fictional movie.
What movie is that?
Called Runaway Jury. Like,
wait, that's with John Cusack.
Yeah. It's some fucking anti-Second Amendment fucking propaganda bullshit, but it's an okay movie. Gene Hackman was good in it. And John Cusack was good in it too. It's just that he's a Bernie Sanders supporter and he's annoying on Twitter, and I just like to troll him.
I also hear he's a dick in real life. He was a dick to my cousin.
He's a dick. Fuck that guy. But anyway, but in that movie, Runaway Jury, like there's this whole crazy behind the scenes shit that's supposedly going on. Like if you're like billionaires, right? You could actually have this team working behind the scenes with earpieces and shit, and fucking going, nope, cut him. This is the guy we want. That was Gene Hackman in that movie going, get rid of him. He's got a chip on his shoulder. Get rid of him.
Yeah. You know? That's actually
does that happen? That doesn't happen.
Only in Hollywood.
I was gonna say this feels like a really stupid question.
No, it's like only in Hollywood, but I will tell you though, there is a mentality and a strategy to picking juries. That's why some parties, defendants, and also in civil cases, they will have jury consultants. And, there was, for anyone.
That's what Gene Hackman was. He was a jury consultant.
Well, I mean, he was a jury consultant.
He was like a fixer, is what he was.
To the extreme. Yeah. But
dirty motherfucker.
I do believe, just to your point, though, that is only in Hollywood, but there absolutely are cases, and I think there was a trial 1.0 case in this matter, where there are external forces upon a jury, i.e. FANNING. I definitely think that Fanning, as I've said, touched this jury, and I disagree strenuously with Judge Bev on her decision, and we'll talk about it. But
thank you, DB.
But to sum it up, once that the jurors report, they all answer the jury questionnaire, which you saw negotiated. And by the way, Dana Nicole, yes, Charlie Adelson case. I was just about to state that. I was going to give that example. The jury consultant did him dirty in the Charlie Adelson case down in Florida. And we'll see what happens if his mother, Donna Adelson, is going to use a same or similar jury consultant. If you're not following that case, you should be. So anyway, everyone answers the jury questionnaire once they come to court. From what I gathered from Judge Bev today, she's decided to stagger that. She's going to have, I thought she said 50 at a time. I might have gotten that number wrong, but they'll answer their questionnaire and then kind of move along. Then they can go home, and then others will come in either that day or the next day, answer their jury questionnaire. It appears to be a 2-page. I haven't looked at it. If it's been posted, it hasn't drawn my my attention. I think the old one, the original one that came out on the 21st was posted, but today they further negotiated it. And it's a 2-page document, plus on the 3rd page of it is like a publicity addendum to it. Like, have you heard about this? How did you learn about that? Blah, blah, blah. So once the jurors, the whole veneer, once they answer all the questions, the attorneys will then go through and voir dire the panel. They'll ask them different questions and call them up to the bench. People, if they have excuses, they'll be excused from serving jury duty. Judge Bev, like, so foolishly asked the attorneys today, I want you all to agree on what you think is enough based on this questionnaire to send jurors home. They're not going to fucking agree, Bev. They can't even agree on whether or not, like, the other person's a decent attorney. They hate each other now. And why do they do that? Because you made them hate each other. So, they're not going to agree on the standing grounds.
Yeah, that courtroom, dude, is as dramatic as courtrooms get in real life.
Oh,
like,
yeah,
it just is. Like, there are so many personal feelings because there is dirty shit fucking happening here.
Yeah,
like
you
and
said.
it's like constantly happening.
Yeah, like you said, they're no longer.
And these guys are working for free. You know what I'm saying? Like, they're working for free and putting up with this shit.
And it's a lot of work.
Right.
Like, I keep going back
to. Just think
to
about going through the questionnaires. Just the questionnaires alone.
Yes.
Of the jurors, right?
And
like,
there
just
are
having to go
trials.
through that alone.
There are trials when, like, a defendant doesn't have money and he's got a public defender who would be doing all of this. He would be doing all of the things, and probably not all of them. You're not going to have a public defender going to the SJC and then the First Circuit on your behalf. You're not going to have a public defender doing the jury questionnaire and then all of these very important motions or oppositions to motions. That's why it's so important, in my opinion, and I know you share it, Will, to donate, because this is not cheap, and it doesn't go to attorney's fees or to extravagant dinners for Karen and her wardrobe. Like, I'm telling you all, and trust me, bro, like, experts ain't cheap. And it is very, very expensive in general to put on a defense, even down to supplies. And there's other people. Like, I imagine you're going to see the dude who sat at the little table, the technology guy. I can't think of his name. Craig, maybe? The guy who...
I forgot his name too, but I like that guy.
Yeah, I call him the technology dude. I think his name might be Craig. He's not an attorney. He's living there, for the duration of the trial, providing all of his resources. That's not cheap either. So if anyone is feeling generous, please consider donating. But then once they go through and decide who they're going to pick off, I don't know how many peremptory challenges each side gets. I think it's 6.
When I met that guy,
Yeah.
I go, are you Microdots? Because I hadn't met Richie yet. So I was like,
that's a great t-shirt, by the way. I would like that.
He was like, no. He was like, yeah, I know who you're talking about, though. He's like, no, I just handle like the AV, stuff. And I was like, okay. And he was like putting the I was watching him do I was watching him like zero in he was prepping the jury for seeing the
inverted video.
No, the Lexus back into the Traverse. And they showed that, and then that's the jury absolutely reacted to that. And then the next day was the inverted video.
And you were in court for the inverted video?
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
unbelievable.
that was fucking crazy, dude. That shit was fucking crazy.
I
Like,
mean it. Like, I would have
the
killed to see that in person. But I
dude,
honestly, I don't know if I would have
it
appreciated
was all about the jury. It was all about the jury's reaction. Like,
and
everyone shifted in their seats and went like this. You
and
know, everyone.
on that point though, in the motion to dismiss, like the order that came out, like the judge completely poo-pooed that. Like, so what if it was inverted? Yeah, it did. You still got to cross-examine Buchanan on this and Proctor on that. So no harm, no foul.
Exculpatory evidence.
It's
Yeah.
a fucking motion to dismiss based on, wait for it, extraordinary governmental or prosecutorial misconduct. Okay,
Right.
like she drives me insane. But just to finish up your jury selection question, you pick your jurors, you have challenges. Once you decide, the questionnaire works and you say, okay, we don't want these people or we want these types of people. And then it becomes a selection process. People come and answer questions. This court doesn't want the juries asking them questions. Excuse me, the attorneys. Been a long day. Asking them the questions. So I've never really seen that before. I don't know if why do I keep saying juries? I don't know if the attorneys are going to be asking these jurors any questions. It did not sound to me like Bev wants that. And once they take their challenges, which are essentially like, you're out type of decisions, they'll be able to boil down what 12 plus X number of alternates they want sitting. It's a really interesting process. It is, in my opinion, the most important part of any trial. And I also found it very interesting to hear Ms. McKinney, ESQ's views on who she thought should be typical jurors on this trial, because she has a very no bullshit approach. And I mean, I certainly
I'll get her on here at some point.
Yeah.
I'm excited to.
So they negotiated that jury questionnaire today, and it looks like the attorneys still have to kind of agree or disagree on some of the provisions in there. There was a discussion. Brennan, the next thing that was discussed, Brennan still wanted to discuss ARCA. And as far as ARCA is concerned, he mentioned he got more TUI letters. Yeah, the night before, I guess last night, he's like, I got more TUI letters, and more things are either being produced or I'm getting stonewalled.
I'm just never ever gonna get over Alessi's like, dude, I don't know what the fuck he wants. Like it's like I don't know what he's asking for. Like we gave him everything we got.
And interestingly, and who heard it? I'd be interested to hear if anyone in your chat heard that Brennan said during that discussion of ARCA, I have grave concerns. So he and Bev, they're vibing. They're vibing.
Or he's just trying to just being pathetically, obviously trying to cater to her thought process. Just some lame attempt to just subconsciously get on her side and get her on his side. Like it's this is what he does. He does smoke and mirrors. He does sleight of hand law, trial law. That's what he does. Sleight of hand trial law.
Agreed.
Plays fucking little mind games.
He's like a chameleon, or that guy in one of the Terminator movies. I can't think of the actor's name, but the guy who could morph his body into different shapes and form different.
T-1000.
Was it?
T-1000. Yeah, Robert Patrick.
Yes.
Have you seen this boy? Yeah.
Yeah, that's some thrilling shit. Like that movie scared me. T-1000. I would not have remembered that, but he was a little freaky. Anyway, yeah, someone should make a comparative theme of the two of them. And then lastly, what was discussed was so nothing was decided on ARCA. That's still pending. And then lastly, what they discussed was it looks like some additional bullshit concerning Judd the Chud Welcher was handed over to Alessi, and Alessi is like, yeah, you have 140 page or slide presentation, And we were kind of hoping that you would have narrowed that down to give us more information or to pare down what you want us to find in Judd the Chud's production. And Brennan basically said, no, I document dumped you. So the court gave Alessi 2 days to kind of review it, but that issue is still pending. So the judge had forecasted she was going to issue a motion to dismiss ruling, which she did. I haven't given you my full thoughts on it. I can if you want. The buffer zone decision we talked about. There is another hearing next Tuesday. I did not catch the time that
I didn't catch the time either.
We'll figure it out.
I know it's Tuesday. Yeah, I was like, I'm not worried about it.
And then there was
either 9 or 11.
There was some little discussion about metadata, which, I mean, if the conversation lasted 20 seconds right at the end, it went over my head. I don't recall how significant it was, but something came up concerning metadata, and I'm telling you all it was not important. But if you have an interest in hearing it, you might want to go to the very end to your audience. You might want to look at the very end of that stream for it. So that's my recap. I apparently am a field reporter at this point. The motion to dismiss, though, I can discuss it. Here's it in Cliff Notes. Absolute bullshit. She essentially undermined her entire decision in her footnotes, most notably. And in cases, they have things called dissenting opinions. You often see it in Supreme Court cases, U.S. Supreme Court cases. There will be a decision, and then there will be a justice or two who dissent, and they say, I feel so strongly that I'm going to put my opposition and dissent to this decision in writing. And as I read this 27 page decision, which I highlighted, Will, for you, as I was going through it, I was going, everything she keeps saying, it's like she wrote a dissent to her own decision along the way. But I do have notes. I don't know how ingrained your audience wants to get in terms of that, or you just want to shoot the shit about it.
Shoot the shit, man. That's what we're doing.
Strike me as a shoot the shitter.
Yeah.
So you know what, I'm also, fuck it, let's chat match. I'll do 50% tonight. Anyone who wants to throw a super chat from the beginning of the stream, I'll match 50% to tonight. We're gonna, and we won't know until tomorrow, but I'm gonna match to the Karen Reed Defense Fund tonight. So if anyone wants to get a question, I see some came in terms of questions in your chat. If you want something under my nose, feel free. I'll match 50% once I reconcile it with the glare.
Hey, I made a video. Did you see it?
Made a video? No.
Here, I'm pretty proud of it.
To let you know that this channel will be used to go over the.
Oh shit! Where are my glasses? Oh.
Back again. Just want to let you know that this channel will be used to go over the Karen Reed evidence that shows that she is 100% guilty, and that I feel justice for John O'Keefe will come in 2025 when Karen Reed and Turtle Boy are both found guilty, and they will be rocking those orange jumpsuits. And back again.
I am fucking retarded.
Did you post that? I did not see that today. I gotta grab. Hold on, let me.
Fucking retarded. I need to be committed, for fuck's sake, dude.
That makes me. She makes me want to wear. She makes me want to wear these fuckers tonight. How about check those out?
Oh, nice.
Yeah. Oh,
did Ronnie know Fanning and TB interviewee?
Thank you. Did Ronnie know Fanning and TB oh my God, Ipsy Dixit. There's a lot of vowels in this question. Did Ronnie know Fanning in TB interview? Did he know? Well, I think what you're getting at, Ipsy Dixit, is I'm going to harken back to one of my tweets today because I think it's important. So interestingly, in the argument today, where did it go?
Thank you, Kelly.
Hold on one second, folks. Where? Okay. Wait, bear with me. Okay. So interestingly, in the argument today, there was a discussion, or someone was arguing it, where Brennan, in fact, it was Brennan. Brennan was arguing something that made me think of Ronnie the juror. And I was like, So ultimately, where is it? I apologize. I'm not prepared. Hold on. I tweeted more today than I normally do. So
I'll play it again later.
Here it is.
We need to stay on task, but I'll play it again later. Thank you.
So I wrote, did you hear that from Brennan? Presenting evidence on third-party culprit defense, quote, diverts the jury's attention. And then I wrote translation distractors. And that your question kind of made me think about that because Ronnie kept using the word distractors. The jury kept thinking about distractors.
Yeah.
And now you hear Brennan saying that presenting a third-party culprit defense will defer or deter or distract this jury.
Yeah, good point.
Right.
Yeah, that can't be a coincidence. I completely agree with you.
And that makes me think of Fanning, even though, look,
Agreed.
I am not saying, Judge Bev in her motion to dismiss decision, in her order, she, in a nutshell, at the end or towards the end, when she talks about the jury tampering, she says, counsel's claim that Fanning was, quote, in charge of the jury, end quote, was directly involved in efforts to have one of the jurors dismissed, is false. I'm
like, yeah, she made it a point to point that out. It's really weird.
Yeah, it's she says to be simply false. Oh, hi Kim. I'm sectioning you. Oh.
Love Nurse Kim. Yeah, she's sectioning me for that video. I love it.
Yeah, it's pretty insane. But she again the judge made her summary answer there that he never had it. He was not in charge of this jury. And I feel so strongly that if he was the commander of whatever, it's in her decision, whatever his stupid title was, I don't care if he was, quote, in charge of this jury. He had every opportunity, title, access, information being rising up the chain directly to him as the, quote, commander. That is enough of a too close for comfort level for me. Plus, he now, as retrospect, and what is that saying? Hindsight is 2020. We now know that he was essentially in the metaphorical bed with Colleen Crawford in whatever business dealings they had. With
somebody posted something today about that. Did you see that? I reposted it. Because I actually wanted to go over it with you, but I don't think we have time to do that today.
Sorry, I don't want to keep you.
We'll have to put that on the back burner because we're going to wrap this up in about 20 minutes.
Sorry about that. Let's hit some questions.
There's a lot to go over that we've gone over. It's good. That's something that we can go over next time. It's not like crazy.
And you can always whenever you want me to join you, I'm happy to join you. And to anybody who has thrown a super chat, if I haven't answered your question, I apologize. I don't get to see them unless Will puts them up on the screen, but I'm doing 50% chat matches tonight. Let's throw some generosity Karen's way. And then also, I did want to forecast for all of you. You'll probably be.
Did you answer Bay State's question about the dismissing the juror with just hearsay, alleged video, recorded it?
I don't see them.
Here we go.
Bay State, what do you think of dismissing the juror with just hearsay? Yeah. So alleged video, who recorded it and where is it? Who knew the juror? Yeah. Interestingly, because I again tweeted about this again, and I want to make sure you all know I'm tweeting more so I remember more, because I'm get a little information overloaded working one job, and this became a little bit of a second one. But yes, this is questionable. I'm not saying completely improper. It is questionable, Bay State, to dismiss a juror based on nothing but hearsay. So this incident where there was a juror at an American Legion a month before closing arguments was reported to have been talking about the trial in some American Legion, and some law enforcement officers overheard it. They chose, apparently, according to the decision issued by the judge, to then wait a month until right at the precipice of closing arguments to report it to the court. Does that sound a little funny to you? So it is hearsay. And I question.
It seems as though Fanning, like, it just all points to Fanning just making that decision and getting rid of her. You know,
all roads.
And I'm telling you, I saw her in that, and she was visibly pro Karen Reed is innocent. You know.
Yeah, I agree. So you have all of that. She was visibly pro Karen Reed / probably anti Proctor. You know, because it sounded from what I understood.
She was definitely anti Proctor.
And being anti-Proctor, which I do want, I would be remiss if I did not mention to your viewers, this decision on the motion, that the order that came down, the judge has made it very clear to me that, and we all kind of suspected this, the Commonwealth is absolutely going to shit all over Proctor. They're cutting him loose. They are, Proctor asked.
Oh yeah, it doesn't matter because the defense is going to call him up.
I still think the prosecution will as well. That's my suspicion.
You think so? Really?
I didn't originally.
Like, for what reason? Just to try to get in front of it?
Yes, I did not originally. He wasn't on the witness list originally. I always thought, well, if they don't call him, the defense will. Then the prosecution added, I believe, if I have my facts straight, they added Proctor and some others to their amended witness list. The thought that I have, even knowing that from this decision that came down, they're gonna shit all over him. Like he procured and requested videos at the outset. We don't know why he never handed them over. Lally his hands are clean. It's all Proctor. I still think strategically it is more advantageous for the Commonwealth to get ahead of it and control the narrative.
That's what Lally did last time.
Yeah, but this is worse now because
he just did a bad job at it. All right, you made this bed, so you got to lay in it. So we got to keep these answers short and keep them moving because they're pouring in now. The questions.
Okay.
And we've only got 14 minutes. What happens if the First Circuit Court says trial? What if the First Circuit says trial can happen, but issues rules for jurors, instructions Bev gives jurors, and that Fanning can't interact with jurors, but Bev already let it happen? Does jeopardy attach? I didn't understand that question.
Okay. First Circuit won't issue rules for jurors. If the First Circuit is either going, they're either going to stay this trial or they're going to deny the request to stay it. The First Circuit is not going to have any say on what happens with the jurors. All right, Gray Space. Why? I'm going to read them, Will, if you want. If you want.
All right.
Why did multiple cops mention it a month later? Can someone say conspiracy and cover up? Multiple cops. And you know who they likely reported it to? Fanning. So I'm looking forward to Fanning's testimony.
Me too.
Yeah.
I can't wait. This motherfucker could have been in charge of the Joint Chiefs. He's dirty as fuck.
Man, I don't even know how. Is that how you abbreviate motherfucker? I learned
I
something
guess.
new.
I mean, I'm just assuming. Thank you, Will and Nan. No questions, only appreciation. This is just such an important and outrageous case. Sending much love and light from AB Canada.
Thank you so much, Krista.
Thank you so much, Krista. Appreciate that. Speculation. See, Canoni's disproportionate disdain. Speculation. DOJ says case closed. Blah blah blah. Gives false security to expose corruption for all involved. Feds want RICO and want to catch them all. Yeah, that's what I would. At least that's what I'm hoping.
I believe that. But also, I don't believe this case is closed. This is.
I don't believe so either.
25 years of experience doing this, folks.
Kristen from Manhattan says, would you provide color on why you think Yannetti isn't giving the opening statement? Thoughts on opening closing?
Yeah, it's great. I think, in my opinion, and I always say I loved his opening. I think Yannetti is not giving the opening. I think it's going to be Alan Jackson, even though Alessi is wonderful, and so is Ms. Little. I think it's going to be Alan Jackson. And I think it is for the reason being that they're going to not rest on their laurels. They're going to mix it up. So they get the advantage of not previewing to Brennan what he can expect. Brennan is going to go into it thinking, okay, let me go play Yannetti's opening statement on YouTube so I know what they're going to argue. No, just keep them guessing. It's going to be a complete 180, a complete 180 from what you see. But I don't think
seems to have a lot more witnesses this time. The defense seems to be like, we're going full offense here. Fuck it.
I mean,
you know what I mean? We're storming. That's what
we're doing.
We're doing.
Yeah, right. Those were great analogies. And I think I might have missed the end of that question, but for opening and closing, I think it's going to actually be Jackson for both. That's my prediction.
Okay. I not only believe in Karen's innocence, I know it. The dog bites and secretly hiding the animal control history by Greg Henning and Brian Alberts tells. Yeah, good point. All right. One more time, guys. One more time. And then
found guilty, and they'll back again. Just want to let you know that this channel will be used to go over the Karen Read evidence that shows that she is 100% guilty, and that I feel justice for John O'Keefe will come in 2025 when Karen Read and Turtle Boy are both found guilty, and they will be rocking those orange jumpsuits. And
I can't. By the way, though, why? Like, seriously, though, like, why? Show me somebody remotely attractive who thinks Karen Read did it.
That's the whole point. Is like the kind of people that think that Karen Read is guilty. That's all you need to know.
All right, I got this question. What happens if if Proctor pleads the fifth? What does it look like? Okay, so Proctor. By the way, he should plead the fifth, in my opinion, which is, the right against self-incrimination. Mark Furman did that in the O.J. Simpson trial, for example. You guys may be too young to remember that. But what does it look like? The fifth, depending on the jurisdiction, the fifth can be pled on a question-by-question basis. I don't know what Massachusetts requires. Some jurisdictions let you plead the fifth, not answer any of the questions, and just plead the fifth once. Most jurisdictions require you to plead it question by question. For example, what is your name? Well, I'm, on the advice of counsel, I'm pleading the fifth. Well, you wouldn't plead the fifth on that. So there are questions that he's going to answer. If I know the jurisdictional rule right, that it's question by question up there. He'll answer questions from, depending on if he's called in the Commonwealth's case or the defense, He'll answer questions on a case-by-case basis. He will have an attorney with him there, or he is a fucking idiot. And then depending on how...
Even Higgins had a fucking attorney there. Like,
yeah, which is a good point. Somewhere in the last 24 hours, I saw someone...
I guarantee you that Colin Albert will have an attorney. Brian Albert will have an attorney. Brian Higgins will have an attorney. Guaranteed. They are named as the third party culprits. They are being accused of...
Well, on that point, Will, interestingly, I'm wondering if Joseph Krowski is going to return to represent Colin Albert. Joseph Krowski has been a very outspoken, quote, court TV expert on the panel with Nick Rocco and Plevin. So if he's going to go back to representing Colin Albert and then spouting out opinions that I don't all agree with on court TV, he can't be doing that anymore. So I'm interested to see who will be representing Colin. So on a question by question basis, he'll plead the fifth. And it'll look like a complete shit show, and a jury is entitled to and should draw adverse inferences from it when the lead investigator doesn't have enough honor and integrity to answer fucking questions. Anyway, what part of foster care Section 8 was she? I don't know what that means.
I have no idea what that means. Lana Lute, thank you so much. Watching from UK, crying at that video. It's brilliant. God bless you, Will and Nan. Jen McCabe's a cunt. Pass it on. Agreed. Proctor, lie for Commonwealth or sing like a bird? Lie for Commonwealth.
He's going to lie for the Commonwealth.
Yeah.
Correct.
Plead the fifth.
Great question, though.
Yes. Excellent question.
If he sings like a bird, what a day that would be. But he won't. Because there's consequences, in my opinion, that are criminal in nature for him. So, it's never too late for anybody to turn. Anybody can flip. Any of those people that you saw in Microsoft's video.
At any given moment, I think Julie Nagel's the one that would flip first.
Hi, Susie.
I'm late as hell, but happy to see you. Right on. Thank you, Susie.
Thank you. So, did I catch up with your super chats? No.
Oh, just about. We still got a couple of minutes. Man, could Bev legally stop a plane flying around with a banner message, i.e. ARCA hired by feds, or any other message? That's a great idea.
I cannot answer that because I don't want to incite anything that could be deemed to be a violation of a court order. But I will say
that is a fantastic super chat. Thank you.
Oh, if you're watching, this is what I'm
fucking
saying.
Dead. Oh yeah. Yeah, I definitely think Julie Nagel is the one I got my money on.
No way. No way. So? No way. This woman, by the way, she's got the intellect and personality of a doorstop.
Right.
No, she doesn't get it. She doesn't get it, because if she got it, if she understood the gravity of what her bullshit added onto this mess in the beginning.
I think her brother understands the gravity.
Well, he's a different story. By the way, his haircut is tight.
I'm telling you, dude.
You could set your watch to that shit.
Set your fucking watch to that shit, dude.
It's nice. Ryan Nagel, if you are hate watching now or just watching.
Just saying, dude.
Miss Nan's liking the haircut. Like to see that.
Yeah, no, dude, I got that dude's number. Like, I totally know that dude. Like, he doesn't want to lie. Like, he could have lied about what he saw, but he didn't. Right? I mean, it doesn't benefit the McAlberts what he said in his statement to the police and what he testified to in court. It doesn't help them at all. And Julie Nagel seemed to be in the house, directly involved in whatever was going on. Seemed to be. And the thing is you also have to take into consideration the time where Turtle Boy was at CF McCarthy's with Meredith, and all of those people, including Ryan Nagel. Now, they have a brother. Julie and Ryan have a brother named Sam, and he is a fucking idiot. and he was really, really like to the point where he was literally touching Meredith, and my head got hot when I saw it, and I could imagine Aiden's.
I'm sure.
I could imagine, and what I saw happen was Ryan Nagel get in Turtle Boy's face and say, "Hey, you blah blah blah. You come, you hate Canton so much, but you got to come here. Why the fuck do you have to come here? Blah 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 blah." Right? And it was a dick move, but what he was doing was protecting his brother. That's what he was doing. Like he was doing it under the guise of being aggressive towards Turtle Boy, because he grabbed his brother and pulled him and got in Turtle Boy's face. A very, very natural older brother instinct thing to do, especially when you have a younger brother who's a fucking moron. So, because I was that younger brother, okay? I was that younger brother, and my brother was that older brother.
Were you a moron?
Absolutely, 100%. Is that really hard to believe? Look at the video I just fucking made, dude. I'm fucking almost 50 years old, dude, and I just made that video. Come on.
I love it. I love it.
Yes, Karen has facts. Hank has actual facts. Oh my God, we are done. Right. Yeah. Okay.
But seriously though, like I think I'm not saying someone's gonna flip. I am saying it's not too late to flip. I don't think it's Julie. But I'm interested. Usually, from my experience, and I have represented people who have perjured themselves and who have flipped and gone state's evidence. Usually, it's one of the weakest links in the chain. I do not feel that Julie Nagel, while she may have the brain cell power of an amoeba, I don't think she is as tangentially involved so as to flip. I do think someone like Ryan could. Nobody get hopes up, but it's usually.
I'm just saying, I'm saying that she's. I feel like she would be the most likely, but we got to wrap this up. Yeah, we've got to go ahead and wrap this up. Nan, thank you so much as always for being here.
You're care, absolutely guys.
Fantastic. And till next time, thank you again.
Take care.
And for your generosity for Karen. Like,
we'll square up tomorrow. Take care, guys. Thanks for having me. Good night.
Bye, Nan. Thank you. Nan Gallagher, y'all. Got to give it up. All right, guys. Whatever you do not type Glare Raid in Turtle Boy's chat. Don't do it. Whatever you do not do that. Okay? Don't do it. Guys, thank you so much. Again, a big thank you to the notorious Nan Gallagher. And thank you guys for hanging out with me. Make sure to hit the like on your way out. It really helps me out. Thank you guys for all the support. And it really helps Karen out too, because Nan is amazing for doing that. It's just crazy. It's amazing. So thank you guys for all your support. Make sure to hit the subscribe if you're not subscribed. And if you are new subscribers, I really hope you're enjoying the channel and you continue to enjoy it. Guys, I love you guys very much. You guys are absolutely fantastic. Thank you guys so much for everything. I love you, and we will do this again very soon, my friends.